Dreams make good stories.
I don't know what it means. Smile, Gurney.
Come with me. You want some muscle?
I did?
No.
Welcome back to Cocktail Cinema, folks. I am your first favorite bartender, third favorite author, Josh Price. I am stoked as hell to be here in the studio tonight with my co-host Greg and our producer Shasti.
Glad to be here today.
Doing, boys?
Doing well. Doing real well.
I am so excited.
I'm getting there.
As a Dune fan, I've been waiting for a movie like this for basically my whole life. And now Denis Villeneuve has given me a gift. We are reviewing 2021's Dune. As I said before, this movie was directed by Denis Villeneuve. Came out this year, and it had a budget of $165 million. And in its first 2 weeks, at least here in the States, it has given a $300 million box office return.
Yeah.
It just got greenlit a few days back for a part 2.
Awesome.
So hopefully we will see the entire trilogy played out. And for good reason.
Yeah.
Because, Greg, lay this heavy cast on
Yeah,
me.
you know, I mean, a lot of up-and-comers on this one for sure. I think Timothy Chalamet lends a huge role as Paul. Man, breakout performance of the year for sure. Rebecca Ferguson is Lady Jessica. Zendaya, gotta love those one-word names, as Chani.
She took place of Sting. For this,
right. There you go. Oscar Isaac, man, I loved him as Duke Leto in this one. Fantastic.
Absolutely.
Jason Momoa as the weirdest name in this whole thing.
Man.
Duncan Idaho. Duncan Idaho's the weirdest name in this whole thing, so whatever. Stellan Skarsgård as Baron Harkonnen.
Great.
Awesome too, yeah. Josh Brolin. You always got to love this guy, man. I don't know.
Of course.
Gurney Halleck. Javier Bardem as Stilgar. And Sharon Duncan Brewster as Dr. Kynes. There's a lot of other names that kind of lend a hand. We'll probably get into them as we speak.
Yeah.
Like Batista.
Yeah.
But
A boy.
right. But yeah, no. It's if it's not started now, it will be, because every one of them gave great performances in this movie.
Well, hold on. Before I say what I got to say, I am feeling this desert power.
I know.
And I'm also feeling this desert power. So what you've got in front of you there, gentlemen, is
Not just your sandworm.
It's no. This is the essence of spice itself. This is I wanted to play with some Middle Eastern flavors, you know. So we're talking coffee, we're talking almonds, we're talking a little bit of chocolate. We have half an ounce of amaretto. We have half an ounce of Kahlua, an ounce of rum cream, and an ounce of espresso vodka.
Okay.
And we top that bad boy off with 2 dashes of our favorite Aztec bitters.
Sure.
Gotta
And
love it.
there is your desert power.
All right.
Smells great.
We lay that down on the rocks, but you can do it martini style as well.
Oh man.
There's no mixer in
Oh,
this, and that
man.
is so smooth.
I don't drink coffee, but I would drink this in the morning to go to work.
Absolutely.
I think I'm getting the placebo effect already. Like, it tastes so much like coffee that I think I'm getting caffeine. I'm like, and I need that right now.
Right.
I need that.
Getting amped.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's go.
Yeah. So we have desert power in our glass, and absolutely star power
That's good.
in this movie.
And desert power in our minds.
Desert power in our minds. So travel with us to the planet of Arakis, and let's talk about some Oscar-worthy performances, bro.
Yeah.
So
Heck yeah.
Yeah, we've got some popular names, but we're also being given some of these guys' best work. Like I think Oscar Isaac really deserves to be in the running for Best Supporting this year.
Yeah. No, I guess we have to watch ourselves here on the.
Yeah.
Don't want to give away too much, but
Sure.
as the father, oh my goodness, there was certain scenes where it was so
Yeah, it's so powerful,
heart wrenching, and he, he is the king of basically everything. So it's it lends a hand where he's able to have so much passion and compassion towards his family and still hold that.
Yeah. Well, and I think that, like the casting of Oscar Isaac and Timothy Chalamet in the father-son positions, like even in the trailer, there's a very powerful moment between the two of them where they're just kind of standing there having a conversation, and Paul, Timothy Chalamet's character, is like, "What if I don't want to be the future of House Atreides?"
Yeah,
and
we are House Atreides.
Dad,
yeah,
what if I'm not the future of House Atreides? you'll still be the only thing I ever needed you to be.
Man, I thought that was so beautiful.
It's so
My
powerful.
son.
So powerful.
Yep.
And it's given with such gravitas and depth in a moment that it's really a transition scene.
Right. It is.
But it's every second of this movie is given some sort of weight.
Yeah.
And
It's definitely like the Simba
Yeah,
Mufasa,
yes.
like don't go to the
Yeah.
the shadow zone or whatever.
it's
the
a
heck.
good comparison
Right.
of the relationship between them. It's a little more fleshed out in this movie,
Right.
but it very, Simba Mufasa.
Mufasa.
Say it again. Mufasa. No, and then we're getting fun performances from guys like Jason Momoa
Right.
and Batista,
Right.
who are just playing what they're good at. Like Batista in the last few years, especially under the direction of Denis Villeneuve, has proven that he can do serious roles. Like he was in the opening scene for Blade Runner 2049, which is the same director. And he gives such a powerful performance there. And here he's such a different character. He's just this.
Yeah.
I believe he's known as like the Brute or something in the book.
Okay.
So he's just
Beast.
a mountain
The
of a
Beast.
man.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Jason Momoa as Duncan Idaho. Just
I mean,
killing it.
Momoa plays. He pretty much is playing Jason
plays
Momoa.
himself.
I know,
He's
but
playing
the
Momoa,
creepiest
but
part about
it
him-
calls this movie for this version of the book or of the movie.
Yeah.
It calls for it.
Right.
And
I agree.
It's so much
But
fun.
it was really weird to see him with no facial hair. I was like, who the hell is this ugly son of a bitch? And he's like a
Ugly?
sex symbol everywhere else.
That
but
man is delicious.
That's as a cartoon. Come on.
I mean, at least he's got a little bit of the stubble. Like in Conan, they made him shave completely. So, like he's still got a little bit of that ruggedness
Right.
to him.
But,
But
he's a fighter. I mean, they
Yeah.
all are.
yeah,
I mean, this movie takes CGI and
Mm-hmm.
placement, and there's such beauty to the way this movie's shot.
Yeah.
The
It's
long
seamless.
the huge landscapes that just it takes you somewhere else. Truly,
Yeah.
and it's glorious how they and I love that they can fit the amount of plot and
Mm-hmm.
character intrigue in a 2.5 hour movie. Yes,
Yeah.
it's a long movie, but it doesn't feel like that. At the end, you want more.
yeah,
You want
absolutely.
more and more and more. It's great. It's a solid flick, man.
I've heard. Yeah.
We've talked horror and sci-fi are not my thing.
Oh, yeah.
It's just cool seeing you this pumped for this movie.
No, seriously, I've never been so pumped. Like I'm not a big fan of I like Star Wars and stuff,
Yeah.
and I wasn't a big fan of. No, here we go. But
Yeah, don't say it. Don't you shit on my Lord of the Rings.
Lord of the Rings. It's like Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, and Mad Max kind of balled into one.
Yeah.
A lot of Game of Thrones in there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But you talk about
100%.
like Star Wars, and you were talking about the cinematography and the the CGI and how seamless it is. It's like forget the old Star Wars. Even talk about the newer ones.
Yeah.
It's like night and day from a scene in space to like a scene on a set. Where in this film, it's so seamless that you're almost lost by the time you're seeing like state of the art.
Right.
When the worm,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
that.
Or
It's just
finally
like
shows his
everything
face,
else was
yeah.
shot so well that it kind of puts you in the set.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
And it's part of that is Villeneuve's ability to take the spirit of a story and he uses the idea of shifting sand in his transitions.
Right,
So from
right.
scene to scene, it feels very shifty and
Okay.
flowy and natural. The other thing is they're
a good
shooting
point.
this on primarily IMAX cameras, which, if I remember correctly, they use the 4:3 aspect ratio rather than 16:9. So like 16:9 is that widescreen typical movie look. With the 4:9, it's a taller image. And a slightly wider, the 4:3 is a taller
right,
image
okay.
and slightly wider, but it's
that makes
mostly
sense, I guess, to
you've
try
got
to-
a bigger picture.
That's where you.
otherworldly. It kind of it lends its hand there to
it gives
send you
it
to
gives,
a different
it gives
area,
real
different
scope
world. Yeah.
and scale to what's going on.
Right.
Like this is a whole planet that they're inheriting essentially.
Right.
And he does a great job of, like we said, blending the CGI and the transitions with the actual sets.
And then
You're just pulled in.
moreover, I mean, with the character interaction, it's very well done as far as building up these characters from small things into huge. You know what I mean? The way that the mother and son come together, the way that the father and son come together, are completely different entities. And now he's by himself in almost like a kind of a Jesus Christ role, a moment of like, got to do this now. It sucks. Why are you doing this to me kind of thing? But
Yeah.
Jesus Christ or Neo. You know what I mean? It's that ultra hero role.
It's a very good application of that chosen one style or a trope, and without giving anything away, I mean, this book came out in '64,
Right.
and the first movie came out in '82. So the idea that Paul is both the first male Bene Gesserit and is the son of a duke and potentially in line for a more imperial position, it is established very early. So you're not really giving anything away there, but it's such an established part of both who he is and the rest of the story that it carries you beyond the point where we can talk about. Like it carries you into spoiler territory if you talk about what that means any further.
Yeah. I'll do my best.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I want to talk about that stuff, and
crazy.
maybe someday we'll get around to doing a spoiler review a few years down the road. But it's such a beautiful spider web, and I love Frank Herbert's writing style for that, because I mean the first 3 books or so of this series are very intrigue and cosmic politics in an engaging way. After that, it gets kind of weird. Like there's a character who's like half sandworm, and it gets kind of nuts.
Yes.
But it's like book 6. There's a
wait
guy.
to number 2.
Book 6 is like thousands of years down the road, and the guy's half sandworm, and he's playing with anyway.
Jabba.
Essentially, only he can like fly and shit. But yeah, so the first 3 books have the feel of this movie, and from what Villeneuve has been saying, Dune, like the book Dune is going to be parts 1 and 2, and then the third film in the trilogy that he has planned is going to be Dune Messiah, which is book 2. And I'm very excited to see all of this stuff play out because they plant so many story leads in this film. It's very Fellowship of the Ring, where this story has a long way to go. But it's so worth watching this installment.
You need that seed. You need the seed to be planted on, and not just by Timothée Chalamet.
Well, we talk about other trilogies, like even the new Star Wars. Like you're racing to get to the end of the third third film because you already know that's where all the fun stuff is going to happen, even though that movie fucking sucked. But with so with so many, I did the Pocky Chip Challenge. I think I get it past. With so many trilogies, you're racing to get to that third installment, and here it's like, no, slow down, enjoy what's going on, and it's done so naturally that I don't need everything to be wrapped up in a bow. I don't need this to be a standalone film.
No,
I would binge the hell out of all 3 of these movies once they come out.
I don't use this word very often because it's overused, but epic. Epic
Very
proportion.
much so.
There's a lot to say. There's still a lot to go.
Yeah.
I'm excited. I loved it. I loved it, man.
I'm gonna throw out a hot take here. I think this might be one of the best films I've seen
On the new era
ever.
Yeah, no,
like this is top
it's up
50
there.
ever. This is probably top 10 in the last 10, 15 years.
I think it's too early to call that for me. It's got to withstand the test of time, and I think it will. But I think after the 5-year mark, we'll see.
I've watched this movie twice already, and I want to go to because it came out on HBO Max simultaneously with the theatrical release. Because Warner Brothers 2020, they're like doing this first 30 days thing where you can see it on streaming. I want to go see this in an IMAX.
Yeah, no,
I feel like it deserves it.
I had originally I wanted to do that, but I ran out of time.
Yeah,
I had to watch it at home.
Well,
But I
we're
think
busy,
I'm gonna
man.
go.
We're busy, man.
Yes.
I don't necessarily need to give it 5 years, but I think I need to give it at least 4 more watches, a solid 5.
No, you're
so,
right. I mean, it's one of those films too. You're gonna find something new every time you watch it. You can tell.
Yeah, it's long in the sense where, I mean, they're covering 6 books potentially, right?
2 books. This is almost half of one book, or just over half of one book.
So
yeah, and we're talking about like the copy that's on the table is like 700 pages ish.
Yeah.
So it's split into 3 parts. So they do part 1 and part of part 2 in this movie, and then the next movie will finish out the book Dune. But the book Dune also leaves, because it's a series, it leaves some things open for progression, and you see a lot of those things planted in like Paul's dreams and in just conversations that are had between characters. Things are set up for, like, some things guaranteed going to be wrapped up in part 2, some things will be left open until part 3 and maybe beyond.
Right. And with I think her name is Sued Ferris, I'm pretty sure. The Bene Gesserit's sister, the witch.
Oh, I
think
the lead.
she's. I mean, there's something there. You know what I mean? She's kind of seems like she's kind of leading the realm.
Yeah.
I thought she was awesome. I love that scene
cool.
was awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, and
there's
I
so
think
much
it's
going on.
there is.
But
There is.
it's not necessarily explained yet. But you get the feeling that it will be, and it all rounds out the story. For it being a cliffhanger kind of film, it's really well put together and really well ended.
Yeah.
You know, and
Well, I think it's important, and you know, I could go on and on, so I'll make this kind of
right.
my last major point. But so Frank Herbert was writing this about the things that were happening in Northern Africa and the Middle East with the colonization and all that from the late 1800s to about the 1950s. So we're talking about politics in Algeria, Egypt, Israel, Palestine, and when you recognize that's what's going on, you see the real world analogs for those things, where the Catholic Church is very clearly, the Bene Gesserit, and there's a couple of European countries that are represented by the Harkonnens.
Yeah, you're totally right.
And House Atreides.
Totally right. It's almost satirical at that point. You're absolutely right.
Absolutely.
100%. Yeah.
And like
It brings it home. It brings it back home.
It's very grounded in that
Yeah,
way.
absolutely.
Which is strange to say about a sci-fi fantasy.
Right.
It's grounded.
Yeah.
But
Mind blown.
I'm gonna move us
loving
forward
this.
to
I'm
our
loving
next
this
segment
conversation.
because I am gonna start spoiling things because there's stuff I want to talk about off
I
mic
know,
that
I
just
know, I know.
blows me away. So, Cocktail Cinema, we rate our movies out of 100 tacos because we don't put tomatoes anywhere. They're rotten. Tomatoes are rotten. Tacos are awesome. So out of 100 tacos,
Tacos
Grego,
never rot.
yeah, tacos.
They're good forever.
Tacos are forever.
Yeah.
Grego, out of 100 tacos, what do you give Dune Part 1?
This is so tough because, like I said, I want most of the movies we cover have withstood the test of time. But man, I'm hard pressed to think of another sci-fi film that I've liked more over the course. I can't believe I'm gonna do this. 89.
Okay.
There it is.
That was
There it
yeah,
is.
no,
89. And it would be a 90 to me, but that's that testimonial and test of time that I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So 89. I think this is a fantastic flick, and I think it's going to be world renowned for many, many, many years. It's gonna be like the Star Wars at Christmas.
I have not seen you this excited about a movie.
So
Yeah.
good,
Yeah.
so
long
good.
time.
Original ideas. I love it, man. It's good stuff.
Yeah. Shasti, what's your take?
First of all, I want to give this cocktail 100 tacos.
I'll agree. It's so good.
Cheers.
Shasta just got off a plane and he came straight here.
I need some coffee. This
Yeah.
is honestly, I'm gonna try this again tomorrow, and I'm gonna watch Dune again. But in my mind, I was saying that I need to watch it a handful more times.
Right.
But I'm also agreeing with you in where I'm putting it at 89 tacos.
Okay,
That's
cool.
exactly where I was at. But I think it has potential to be more. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
You're talking
yeah.
about a top 50. For me, those are like kind of all in the 90s. This is still
Same.
like summer top 100.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But
I think
maybe
it will fall
within
there.
89 and other movies I've rated
Right.
89, those are probably my lower half of the
Yeah.
top
Yeah, yeah.
100.
I
But
can respect
I
it.
need,
Need
I
time.
can respect it. I
I
can
know.
respect it.
Need time. We need time.
Like, and I think there's
let it marinate
probably
a
a little
Right,
bit of bias in my opinion because I mean I am a Dune fan and I really did not like the other Dune film with Sting
My dad
and
laughed. about
Kyle
it.
MacLachlan.
So,
You know,
I don't even talk about my father.
so this I give Dune Part 1 a 93.
Ooh, all right.
awesome.
This
Spot
is
on.
up there with The Godfather for me.
Okay.
This is and
They
it's
better come back
refreshing.
with
It's
two.
like so many movies that we get today are like M&Ms, like the Marvel movies. They're M&Ms. They're all the same. They're just slightly different,
Nobody
color
ever
different.
gets tired of that shit.
Yeah, so you can just pop them.
Yep.
This is like I needed something substantial. This is a Snickers. This satisfies. you know. So, and pardon me, it's just after Halloween when we're recording this, so like candy's on the brain. But yeah, 93 from me. And Shasi, do we have the Rotten Tomato score?
We do.
Okay.
What do we got? We got an 83 from critics and a 90 from audiences. I think that critics, I can see where critics are kind of being kind of harsh on it just because it's a longer movie. It's 2.5 hours long. And I don't think many people realized it was a multi-part film, that they were expecting a single story. So that threw a lot of people off. I've seen a lot of reviews that were kind of upset about that, but you know, audiences seem to agree with me and with you.
Yeah, we're right there.
It's a 90.
F 'em.
It's fun, man.
Listeners,
A lot of fun. Yeah.
watchers, what do you rate Dune? Out of 100 tacos, what do you give?
No.
It better be high, otherwise I'm gonna argue with you in the comment section.
Throw tomatoes at you.
I won't do that, but I'll definitely argue with you. I like to argue. Yeah, give us your ratings and tell us why. That said, hop on down to the description of this video. If you're watching this on YouTube, you know the drill. You know, hit the Patreon link if you'd like to get more involved and see some of our exclusive stuff. If you're listening to this on a podcast network, go ahead and give us a rating there. Every little bit helps. Greg, Shasti, thank you for letting me watch this movie and talk about it on the microphone.
I loved it, man. I loved this movie.
I was so excited about this, and I'm so glad you guys liked it.
Heck yeah. Can't wait for 2023.
Yeah, 2023 for part 2.
So
it's been greenlit. The script has been given a treatment, so we should be seeing that soon. Until next time, boys, I gotta say goodbye.
Dad, what if I'm not the future of House Atreides? You'll still be the only thing I ever needed you to be. My son.